Hi, I'm Sarah Cowgill, along with Lisa K. Donner, Dave Patterson, Graham Noble, and John Barr. And this is The Conservative Five, an online TV production of Liberty Nation News. The Democratic National Committee has squabbled their way through the election of a new chairman and a vice chairman. The party who blames all losses for 2024 on racism and misogyny elected two white guys to pull the organization out of the death spiral of this past 4 years. You may never guess who those two pale guys are. Well, Graham, remind our viewers of the lesson not learned. Describe our new leaders of the Democratic National Committee.
Well, they decided to go with the whole co-chair thing. I'm not really sure why that was. I guess it was because they really just couldn't make up their minds between the two outstanding candidates they had off their shortlist. And the funny thing is one of those co-chairs is none other than a young gentleman named David Hogg, who is well known to all of us who pay any attention whatsoever to Democratic Party politics. David Hogg, of course, was the guy who his only claim to fame was being enrolled in the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School at the time that there was that horrible mass shooting, and then he became a huge advocate for gun control. Even though there is a lot of rumors, whether they're true or not, I don't know for sure, but there's a lot of rumors he wasn't actually even in the building that day when the shooting happened. But anyway, so he's done that and he's flitted around. He's even flirted with capitalism and tried to set up a company selling pillows. And then he started complaining on social media that there was too much government red tape involved in setting up a company, which for a progressive is kind of funny that he would do that. But yeah, so this guy is now the co-chair of the Democratic Party, which that alone tells you that they, you know, a lot of people on the right have been saying ever since November of last year, a lot of people on the right have been saying, have the Democrats learned absolutely nothing from their election loss? And the answer is clearly no, because really, David Hogg, who embodies and promotes and advocates for all of the very things that America rejected in November. So that's incredible. I guess it's a sign of how unknown the other co-chair is. He was the guy who basically wanted Trump to be thrown in prison or something, or, you know, he's a major case of TDS with him as well. So how did they pick these two guys that are the worst, you know, the absolute embodiment of everything that has gone wrong with the Democratic Party in the last, 8 or 10 years?
Well, during the process, the moderators, said, "Hey, candidates, raise your hands if we lost, 2024 because of racism and misogyny." And every candidate, like, whatever.
Did anybody see the soundbite of the lady getting up there and saying, "Wait, it has to be one binary, one." Yes. Yeah. And they were confused. They didn't get their own stuff straight, and so somebody else came on and she got it completely wrong. And
that was like a Monty Python skit, the way they tried to go into explaining their own rules about what they call gender. It was hilarious. But it's a messaging thing. The Democrats believe that their loss was a messaging thing, and that's the problem, of course, because everyone knows that it wasn't. But they are determined that, no, there was nothing wrong with our platform. There's nothing wrong with our philosophy. There's nothing wrong with all of our little progressive pet projects. It's just the problem was the American people didn't understand us properly. And
the everyday Democrat, though, that casts a vote, the everyday guy that works in a factory or works, at the car dealership or as a mechanic or a farmer, those Democrats, they must have left. And I don't know how they see that this is attracting that working class. And so I guess I'm confused by the picks. I don't know. I mean, are we going to see a new message emerging? Somebody tackle that one for me.
I could suggest Well, this is something I spent a lot of time working on here in Vermont, particularly because, this is a very progressive state. And for instance, Vermont, just today, another report of some more illegal entrants coming over our border accused of human trafficking, and a recent arrest of a Venezuelan who was found with cocaine residue after re-entering the country after serving 3.5 years in prison in New York for burglary. And yet our government, our liberals here on the left, I should say, are so extremist that they're rallying the troops to protect people here illegally at the expense of the safety and well-being of Vermonters. And so the party nationally is echoing that. Thomas Frank wrote a great book called Listen Liberal about how the liberals lost the working class and became the Martha's Vineyard elites. And he's very strong about it. He wrote that in 2017. And what he said was, you can't continue to win elections solely on the base of the message that Donald Trump is bad and you should vote for us because we hate him. You have to have policies. And what I'm noticing in the cacophony coming out of the Democratic National Coffin is that they keep talking about reaching out on policies and people, but they don't have any. They're really back to the hate. And they're back to saying, we have to oppose these evil people. It's not resonating. Americans want to know, you mentioned it, it's working class people. They want to know how you're going to bring down the prices of eggs, not blame Trump for it, how you're going to help us with jobs, help us with the borders. Look at the borders and the crime. Every demographic increased in support of Republicans. And it's sad that the Democrats can't get back to what was their liberal base instead of this far left extremism that continues to dominate them.
Does anybody remember Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and the Stages of Grief?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
I think the last one used to be 5, now there's 7, I don't know. But the last one is acceptance. And that's what the Democratic National Committee hasn't been able to embrace. So they're flailing away at like far left wing, haven't reached the center positions that would be acceptable to most of the Democrats. And they continue down the road that it's going to be hurting themselves and spinning their wheels going nowhere. I mean, this last election was a total repudiation of where they stand and what they stand for. And somehow they haven't gotten the message yet. Somebody else was saying, let's run Harris again in 2028. Please do.
Yeah, to your point, they're stuck in denial.
Yeah, they haven't acceptance. They just haven't gotten there yet.
But was it going to take them 4 years to get there, and then they'll go back to the whole message again? It's the messages for Hillary Clinton. The message, I'm with her. With her doing what? I mean, come on, give us something to go on. If I am your just Democrat on the street, I want to know when the egg prices are going down. Like Clark said, I want to know when I can afford groceries again. I want to know these things. And I want to know how you're going to fix them. Not that, I will. No, tell me how. I'm not that stupid. I want a plan. And I just wonder how much of that mainstream blue dog Democrat has just sat around scratching their head for the last 4 years.
So Sarah, there's something that I think that was very enlightening in that Ken Martin made a statement, and it wasn't his intention to be symbolic of a problem, but he said, quote, "The reality is what we need to do right now is really start to get a handle around what happened last election cycle. We know that we lost ground with Latino voters. We know we lost ground with women and younger voters. And of course, working class voters. We don't know the how and why yet. Oh my gosh. Have you ever thought that it might have been a toxic message that no one bought?"
Well, maybe that's
tell us how you feel there, Dave Patterson.
Maybe the solution of the egg crisis is we need more roosters to be laying eggs. We need more trans roosters of color.
Well, AOC was just complaining, well, how come our egg prices aren't down? It's been 2 weeks. I mean, he's been in there 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We could ask why they're up. As Biden killed 100 million on the way out the door, 100 million chickens, that'll do it.
Yeah.
I think the Democratic Party is going to be in the political wilderness for at least at least one more election cycle. Maybe after that they'll wake up. And the reason is very simple: is it doesn't take any. You don't have to be any kind of like a political scientist to figure this out. It's simply because the people who have got who are now got the party in a stranglehold, referring to what John Carr said. You know, there was a day when the Democratic Party was actually run by liberals, actual real liberals, and they're gone now. Now it's progressives, and these people are crazy. I mean, I'm sorry, that's the only way to describe it. But the thing is, they will never. Those people that are in charge right now are never going to suddenly one day say, you know, this transgender ideology we were pushing, it's just, you know, it's been rejected. We were wrong. It wasn't a good idea. You know, the DEI we were pushing has been rejected. The 24/7 hatred of Trump and everyone who votes for him, that hasn't worked. You know, they're never going to admit that what they have pushed didn't work and was not taking people in the direction they wanted to go. So therefore, they're going to have to wait now. The Democrats are going to have to wait until another generation, a new breed of people takes control of that party who actually do know that all that stuff was horrible and toxic and divisive.
I heard somebody on TV this morning saying the Democratic base, which is located in Aspen and Martha's Vineyard, and as long as that continues, they're not going to go anywhere.
I'm not one to make predictions, but the leadership of this team is looking kind of shaky. And I think they, whether they want to hear it or not, they probably need a little praise and prayer for guidance to see where they go in the next 4 years. Thanks, panel. Thanks for watching. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation News has its own Roku channel where you can see all of our TV productions. The Liberty Nation does not endorse candidates, campaigns, or legislation, and this presentation is no endorsement. I'm your host, Sarah Callaghan. Thanks for joining us today for the latest news and commentary. Your choice for free thinking, free speech, libertynation.com.